This episode is brought to you by Classical Conversations. To find out more, please visit classicalconversations.com.
Cross Politic begins in 3, 2, 1.
I have a heart that breaks for a dying city.
Stop cursing your future.
Is not true.
For all intents and purposes, I am a woman.
No government, no political system has ultimate supremacy. Jesus is King of Kings, and it's about time our nation returned in humble submission to his lordship.
You are not protecting women. You are authorizing the destruction of 500,000 little women every year.
I didn't start it, but sir, with all due respect, that's the argument of a 5-year-old. I didn't start it.
Right, when the Spirit comes upon people, they go to war, they go to battle, and the enemies of God are driven back and they're slaughtered.
You are listening to Cross Politic with Gabe Wrench, the Water Boy, Pastor Toby Sumter, and the Chocolate Knox.
Hey, y'all, welcome to Cross Politic, and happy Father's Day, you guys.
Man.
Hey,
happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Pastor.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Well, thank you very much. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And happy Father's Day
to you.
Which
camera? Which camera?
Yeah.
Hey, to all you dads out there, way to go.
Yeah.
Right? Way to go.
And we also want to remind everybody to share the show. You know, happy Father's Day. Share the show.
Little love.
Okay.
Little Facebook
you know
love.
what my Father's Day gift would be from you?
What?
Sign up for a club membership.
Oh, there we go. That's true.
And you can share the show.
That's true.
Hit share.
I appreciate both of those.
We even had a gal this last week say, hey, I want to sign my father up for the club.
Hey, happy Father's Day.
You go, girl.
Hey,
You
yeah.
go.
Go to
Way to go.
crosspolitic.com, hit that button, join.
That's right. And I told her, I was like, he didn't need to be a club member to listen to the show, but he does need to be a club member
to get some of this.
Get some of our kit.
Oh, yeah. Hey, this is our thank you kit.
I tried to tee Toby up for that.
Oh, that was really good. I was like, what are you doing? Hello? What are we doing here?
You're not selling us.
Is this a show? Are we recording? Hi. If you're not already a member, well, if you are a member, you probably have gotten this in the mail or you're about to get it in the mail. Some of you you've been waiting every day by your mailbox.
Yeah.
So, and you ask your mailman, is my Cross Politic kit here yet? Is it here yet? Well, here's what's coming in the mail, and if you join, this is what you get.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a Canon Classics Worldview Guide by yours truly on Moby Dick. If you've wanted to understand what is going on in that mammoth of a novel.
That 800-page novel.
This is
you got 20 pages. It'll tell you everything
my
about
attempt
it.
to
Clip Notes version.
help Christians think through this.
My favorite version.
Wait, was Moby Dick a Christian novel?
Moby Dick is a whale. And he was a very bad whale. So no, he wasn't a Christian.
I thought you were going to say something like, well, text belonged to Jesus. So in a sense.
This is I think I would describe this as one of the great American classics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which means that it has it's God haunted.
Huh. Yeah.
And in very deep ways is not Christian at all.
Right.
And which is, that's sort of the story of the American experiment. Right? I mean, I think
That's so real.
God's been here, and there's been a lot of, God's presence has been here in a lot of significant ways, and yet we're very confused people.
Yeah.
And so was Herman Melville.
Yeah. So what's that book?
You also get food for thought from Pastor Chef Francis Fukushan. Mm-hmm. Think about this. God created Adam, and one of the first things he tells him is what's on the menu.
Yes.
Right? Here's the food.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And so food and our relationship with God and one another is really close to the center of, everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jesus gave us a meal to share, right? Bread and wine. And so,
he didn't give horses wine.
No, he didn't.
He gave him grapes. So.
He gave the horses horse apples.
So, as a thank you for joining the Cross Politic Club, you get these two things, along with 10% off in our merch store. If you want to have a shirt like this,
look at that,
or like that,
and there's new stuff coming in the store. I put some new hats in the store.
Yeah,
I put some aprons,
something for
Father's
some babies.
Day
Aprons.
Baptize your kids if you have children.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We got some Cross Politic baby wear in our store. So
man.
It's blowing up.
Yeah, if you're a new father.
Yeah,
hey, man. Maybe
baptize your kids if you have children.
That too.
You can get some aprons.
And hey, y'all, we got to plug our studio sponsor.
Oh yeah,
the guy who's so we don't have to pay rent in our studio because of Grand American Piano.
That's right.
And so Clint Master Resurrector Grand American Piano. We use
our Grand American Piano.
Grand.
My favorite.
Did I emphasize it wrong?
That's okay. I love you. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I'm here for
and so, but you guys, he takes 100-year-old Steinways and refurbishes them.
Yeah.
And resurrects them.
I was going to say, yeah, they're better than new.
It's not refurbished. It's resurrection.
Yeah.
So go to grandamericanpiano.com and you can see actually what our studio is sitting on.
Yeah.
The foundation of our studio
downstairs
is resurrection.
Bones of pianos.
Yeah.
Clint Hughes is.
We got to have Clint talk about it. I mean, you hear
raising
Clint talk
pianos
about
from the dead.
Dude, it's amazing.
AmericanGrandPiano.com.
So if you guys either
actually,
buy
it's just GrandAmericanPiano.com. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you guys either buy a piano from him, or have a piano resurrected, one of your old grandma's
old piano that needs
you guys
resurrected.
are supporting the show.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what's happening.
That's absolutely
you guys
right.
are supporting the show.
And just a big thank you to all of you that have bought merchandise, that have joined, that you're supporting, you're sharing, you're posting. This is huge. We are grateful to you for your support.
Every share matters.
Man, and I wish I could talk about everything we got going on that we want to be doing and all that stuff, but that's for another day, another time. But thank you for you guys.
We'll do it sometime. Absolutely.
So, guys,
and Faithwire, thank everybody for Faithwire who's watching right now too.
Yeah. Hey, Faithwire,
share the show.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Be a part of the Reformation. Share.
You guys see this last week how the Twitter. Hang on, real quick. Hold on.
Whoa, man.
The CEO of Twitter had to apologize for eating Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah,
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, this is all while Trump is over negotiating, sitting down with Kim Jong-un, and thinking how odd what a contrast there. You got kind of this social Marxist pressure here in the United States, making CEOs apologize for eating at a particular restaurant.
Right.
And then yet you have Donald Trump sitting down with Kim Jong-un in Singapore. Doesn't that seem kind of odd?
So he wait. Are you telling me this dude had to apologize for eating Chick-fil-A? Why?
Well, he actually said, I think he did something like he supported,
he was at Chick-fil-A. It took a selfie of him eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and it had Chick-fil-A wrapper all around it, and tweeted it out. That was it. He said, "Oh man, Chick-fil-A is so good." And then the internet world reminded him that they aren't LGBT friendly.
Right. Especially this is happening during Pride Month, right? Like Pride.
He says, "Sorry, I forgot about their background."
Yes.
And so therefore Chick-fil-A isn't any good anymore. Now, okay, let me think about this for a second. If someone is supporting or engaging in, this is just a worldviews. I know they're not equal, so guys, don't jump on me. If somebody is supporting a company that supports Planned Parenthood,
it's okay to eat there.
No, but will we be like, what are you doing, guys? What are you doing supporting this company? Support Planned Parenthood straight up.
Yeah.
Like, Girl Scouts of America.
I think we should be doing a better job of that.
Yeah.
It depends on the company and depend on the situation.
So
I'd be all about.
Right now, if I have my daughters in Girl Scouts of America, and we know that Planned Parenthood is a supporter of Girl Scouts of America, are we then going to do the same thing and say, guys, what are you doing? Get your kids out of the Girl Scouts of America. And somebody says, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. I don't want to support that.
On this show, we've told people to stop. We've told people to pull themselves out of
public school.
But you're putting out the relative moral authority also, though, because they say this company doesn't support our moral values.
Right.
And Jack bows.
Right. And I'm saying
he genuflects.
Technically, shouldn't he do that if he's holding to the worldview that they're holding to? They're not being inconsistent in their worldview.
No. That's right.
They're being very much.
No, they are. They are because they're not right now taking cake bakers before the Supreme Court. So they totally are being inconsistent.
Work that out for me because I didn't catch that. How are they being? Because they're saying, listen, if you don't support the LGBTQ,
I think they're being consistent.
Yeah, I think they're being absolutely consistent with their worldview because they're saying Chick-fil-A says homosexual marriage, gay marriage. We're not supporting that. We're not behind it. Yep. You support Chick-fil-A, and you're giving them money to fund things against us.
Right. So now I think they're ultimately inconsistent because I want to know, where'd you get that moral value from? How do you know it's bad to be against homosexuality? Where'd you get that moral code from?
Exactly.
Who signed 10 commandments and dropped them at your front door?
You better preach.
Right? So they're ultimately going to be inconsistent. Where'd you get that standard from? but I think they are being consistent in terms of trying to uniformly apply their moral values.
But what I'm saying is where they're being inconsistent even in this turf is that they've chastised Christians for not wanting to hire people from the LGBT community.
But that's consistent. Isn't that consistent?
But they don't want to hire Christians.
That's being consistent.
That's being consistent though, because Christians are wrong. Christians are bad.
Right.
But they're doing it. So they've done it in the past under the guise of saying, hey, you shouldn't let people's beliefs. You should do business regardless of people's beliefs.
Okay.
What they believe.
If that's what they're saying, then that would be inconsistent.
They have done that in the past.
But I think that was their moral ethic 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was them trying to neutralize Christians to set us up. I think where we're at right now.
Let me take. I want to take this somewhere else. So you said
I'm gonna take it somewhere else.
Well, hang on. We got to get to Kim Jong-un.
I know we're gonna get to him. We got plenty of time. We're gonna get to Kim.
No, and then we got to get to Romans 13.
What's up?
Go.
You just said
Romans 13.
This will go there. So you just said that we should be doing a better job of it. When it comes to, we should be somewhat like them
more consistent.
So
oh yeah.
So the unbelievers are more consistent than believers often.
Yeah. So then right now, do this for me. I love the NBA.
Yeah.
Because I like basketball.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is supporting gay marriage and the whole WNBA Pride Month, and they're got the flag up there with the peace sign.
Yep.
It's just, and they're taking our.
I think at the very least, I mean, what they did was, Jack said something about Chick-fil-A, and somebody responds and says, "Don't you know their background?" And he says, "Oh, sorry." Yeah. Now he could have doubled down and said, "What? It doesn't matter what I eat."
Yeah.
But I think at the very least, Christians need to be speaking up.
Yeah.
That would at least be roughly consistent. Would be every time you see it. So the last time I spoke, so I love baseball.
Right.
That's my like this is
I'm sorry.
No, oh man, it's like God and my wife and baseball. Pretty much.
Then your kids. I teach my kids baseball. They're right next to each other.
But I saw I follow the Mariners, Seattle Mariners, and when they posted
the Texas Rangers.
When they posted a gay pride flag, I retweeted and I said, "This is shameful and disgusting."
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to make a point that when I see it,
I'm going to hit it.
I'm going to hit it.
Yep.
So I'm not going to just
praise God.
But
I did the same thing with the NBA.
But I think you should be doing that. So I mean, if your people, or not your people, but the things that you generally enjoy or support.
What do you mean by your people?
Like
Christians.
No, but so I got a buddy who was
I'm talking about NBA or MLB or whatever it is that you're into. If one of your people that you follow, the sport you're into, the company or whatever, I think you need to be speaking up and saying, no, that's bad.
I'm not gonna. So I got a buddy who had a phone carrier. I think it was AT&T, and they are supportive of gay and abortion, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he was convicted by it so much. He's like, I got to leave.
Yeah.
And he went over to somewhere else.
Yeah. And I would say if you could do it, do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
To the extent that you can. I mean, we left our bank over it.
Yeah.
So my family, we stopped banking at Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Really?
So
because every time we went to an ATM, I saw gay pride flags, and I said, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we left. Would it be something you would say is absolutely something that we must do as a Christian, or where your conscience is convicted by it, where you can't engage anymore?
I would say,
because other than buying somebody's conscience to do it, how do we take and?
I'm not going to bind anybody's conscience over it. I mean, I think there's if the principle in the Bible is, Paul says if somebody offers you meat sacrificed to idols and says, "Hey, I just got done sleeping with a prostitute at Aphrodite's temple.
Yeah.
Here, you want some hamburger?
You should
not eat that because
that's law.
not because the meat is evil in itself, but he says for the sake of the conscience of the guy who's offering it to you, don't participate in it with them. So if you are you're being asked to directly support sin or evil, this is why you should not bake the cake for the homosexual wedding
or buy Girl Scout cookies
or No.
Sorry.
But here's the thing: if Girl Scout Cookies says buy Girl Scout cookies for gay pride,
or
do not buy the Girl Scout
Parenthood,
do not buy the Girl Scout cookies. But if it's just Girl Scout cookies, and I know kind of there's connections here. Paul says the cookies are not unclean and of themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody offers you the cookies, give thanks to God. All the cookies belong to Jesus.
That's really hopeful, Toby. That's good. Yeah.
But that's the thing. But I think we need to be just more thoughtful about it and more consistent about it. And I think if you have opportunities and you say, look, this is not getting better, I want to support. I mean, think about it too, and positively. What do you want to support?
That's right.
And if there are some companies that are not jumping on the LGBTQ SRWZ bandwagon, and like that's a big deal to not jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then throw your support behind them and tell them why you're joining.
That's right. Amen.
Go to a new bank.
Go buy a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
And go and say, I'm here because you're not capitulating. You're not giving in.
And don't forget, guys, we have something in history we've never had before. The internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Post it.
Right.
Share it.
Tag them.
Communicate.
You have a voice.
Right.
You have a voice. Speak up. Share the show.
I'm leaving because you support these things.
That's right. Hey, thanks.
All right,
bye.
let me turn this real quick because we got a couple minutes left.
Romans 13.
But
Romans 13.
How do we?
Romans 13.
I tried to connect this to Kim Jong-un. Can I finish the story? Can I finish the story? There should be a.
Are you done?
Are you done?
Are you done?
Romans 13.
Can I finish the story?
Hashtag.
So I tried to tie this into Kim Jong-un and Trump meeting.
You tried
this past week. We got way off track.
How did it work?
But so Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un got together this last week in Korea.
They signed something.
Okay, and not in Korea, Singapore.
Yeah.
It's all the same to me.
We're so sorry. He's from Texas.
Yeah,
we're sorry.
I apologize. I apologize.
Sorry.
And but I don't know quite what to think about this. So I'm trying to because we've known the crimes against humanity that's gone in North Korea for decades.
Yes.
We have known all the
North Korea has been
they've been
evil,
bad. They've been bad.
Absolutely wicked, totalitarian, wicked.
And yet we're more willing to go and negotiate over in the to battle over in the Middle East. And now we're negotiating. We're willing to go to battle in the Middle East, but we're negotiating with Kim Jong-un right now.
Okay,
Give it to me. Give it to me.
You got 2 minutes, and you're going to sit up here and start this conversation. It's going to take at least 20 minutes to work out.
Look. Romans 13.
What's
What's
wrong with you people?
Okay, here's the thing. I think that one of the best ways to evaluate, I mean, it's complicated, and I think we need to be tentative.
Yeah.
So let's be tentative, and let's not be, I mean, I think all of the really, really extreme responses, many of which have been negative, that this is just a big show. It's false. It's a sham. Trump is, becoming buddy.
Yeah. Right.
All this. Okay. I think one of the clearest places to look is to South Korea.
Oh, okay.
What do the South Koreans think is, I mean, they're the ones who have the most to lose.
Yeah.
If this is false, if this is fake, if this is Trump in any way, propping up a totalitarian dictatorship, encouraging crimes against humanity, and if that's going on, South Korea has the most to lose.
Yeah, the Trojan horse is in for them.
And so right in the aftermath, when everybody lit their hair on fire and ran around on Twitter for 24 hours, right? I read President Moon's response.
Yeah.
Remember a few weeks ago, months ago, whatever, there was that meeting and they shook hands and crossed each other's borders. But President Moon and the South Koreans, they have the most to lose.
Yeah.
And so I read his comments, and I would say,
he was pretty positive.
Was cautiously optimistic. And there's a lot of people saying, North Korea's agreed to denuclearize for, all these different years. And they're listing all these years and they say, they lie. But President Moon knows that.
Yeah.
He knows
more than anybody else.
He knows that, and other people in the Far East know that.
Right.
And he said this is a momentous occasion.
This hasn't been this way before.
He said it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I think if they're saying, this is a big deal, this is something new, we've not seen this before, I think everybody needs to say, okay, let's see.
Let's take our lead from them.
Let's
see what
wait and
see.
Do. Let's wait and see.
Really, do you had to bring this up now? We're gonna have to talk about this. We have a guest coming on, right?
We got Dr. Keith McCurdy coming on. We're going to talk about, he's a Christian and psychologist, but Christian first, and means it.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about sturdy kids. Raising sturdy kids.
What kind of kids?
Sturdy
kids. You want some sturdy kids? All you dads out there better be concerned about some sturdy kids.
When we come back on Cross Politics, we'll talk to Keith next.
Romans 13.
Really, at the end of the day, we want our kids to have an amazing education, but we are sending our children into this world, and we want our kids to be able to stand toe-to-toe with this world and be able to defend their faith. CC really, really, really helps you to get that foundation. I love that they are getting, they have a safe place to explore their faith, and that biblical worldview is being reinforced. What we're doing at home is what's happening in the classroom. How important is it to you to be involved in your child's education? How important is it to you to instill your values in your child? How important is it to you to be a part of something that's a little bit bigger than you? How important is it to you to have your child be a part of something that's just a little bit bigger than them? Everything that I wanted for my children's education, every question I asked, classical conversations was the answer.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Welcome back to Cross Politic.
Happy Father's Day, Gabe.
On FaithWire.
you.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, share.
Share the show, people. Be a part of the new Reformation.
Tag your friends.
Hey.
Tag your dads.
Invite.
With us, we're really grateful to have on this segment Mr. Keith McCurdy.
Hey.
Keith has worked with families, children, parents, and individuals for over 30 years in the field of mental health, working with more than 15,000 individuals and families. He received his Master of Arts and Education Specialist degrees from James Madison University.
That's kind of a liberal arts degree.
He's currently the president and CEO of Total Life Counseling, Inc., and is licensed in the state of Virginia as a licensed professional counselor, licensed marriage and family therapist. He's got a lot of letters after his name.
Does your license apply to DC?
Yeah, no, not really.
Keith provides counseling and consulting services as well as a variety of workshops on improving parenting skills, building strong marriages, and maintaining healthy relationships. He's developed and regularly offers a parenting retreat entitled Raising Sturdy Kids, which is one of the particular things that we want to talk with Keith today about. He's also the chairman of the board at Faith Christian School, a Christian classical school.
Yeah, classical school, Roanoke,
Virginia. If anybody's in the neighborhood, check him out. Also, he's an avid outdoorsman and is actively involved with Boy Scouts of America.
Still?
We should ask him
but
about
they don't
that.
exist anymore.
Yeah, for a little longer.
Okay. He also coaches high school basketball.
There you go.
And he and his wife, Linny,
Hold on,
have
wait.
been married for 24 years with 2 children, one in junior high and one a junior in college.
I got 2 questions.
Junior in high school and junior in college.
Keith, I got 2 questions for you. The first one,
Sure.
who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Oh, MJ.
Okay, good.
Hey.
We're good.
Okay, so
Second
far.
question, are your kids baptized?
Yes.
They're in high school and college, man.
Yeah, but okay. Were they baptized when they were children?
Babies. With their babies.
Yes, when they were children.
Babies?
You just made him happy.
You phrased it wrong.
Babies, Keith?
Well, you know.
Keith, you were doing so
we're Presbyterians over here.
You were doing
If you
so
haven't-
And that's. I was in a Baptist church growing up, and then our kids have grown up in a Presbyterian church.
Okay.
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 All right.
You're coming
So I
along.
got all the bases covered.
So we can have a beer with you at least.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have to wear dark sunglasses and a hat, but
Well-
at least I can have a beer.
It's great to have you on Cross Politic, Keith. Thanks so much for coming on.
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
It says here that your primary focus is helping others better understand how a Christian worldview, not psychology, should be the primary influence in parenting and relationships today.
Okay.
So, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
Well, I'll give you a great example. If you take 10 therapists and line them up and give them a kid to look at, and you say, what's wrong with this kid who's who's acting out a little bit, you'll get 2 or 3 different diagnostic codes, and they'll tell you what's wrong with them. Right. But if you ask the same 10 therapists, what does a healthy kid look like? They're not going to know. Because psychology doesn't give us any agreed upon underlying theoretical framework for what is healthy.
That's interesting.
It's all based on dysfunction. And so, and I tell folks all the time who are asking me, gosh, what should I look for in a therapist? I said, well, ask them what a healthy kid looks like. If they can't answer what a healthy child looks like, you don't want to go to them for any advice.
Interesting. So how do they know what's wrong with them if they don't have any objective standard for what a child looks like?
Well, unfortunately, what we've done in psychology is we've come up with our own language. And as you guys know, language is power.
Yeah.
And so we've come up with the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. And what folks forget is all it is a symptom classification system. That's it. But we buy into it in a sense, like it's a Bible for psychology. And so folks in my profession literally go down through a checklist of symptoms, and when they can compile enough symptoms in a certain category, that's the label they give your child.
That's you. Right.
So they have no idea of what a real human being is then.
Right, because the framework of what's unhealthy is not based on its comparison. You know, they're not saying this is unhealthy because it's different than what is healthy. They're saying it's unhealthy because we agreed that these symptoms mean this is the diagnosis they have.
Well,
and to me, that's a pseudoscience. That's not a science.
Because at any given time, I mean, anything that could change.
Well, the
right?
DSM manual has changed, right? Haven't they even redefined
absolutely.
what the transgender used to be labeled as a negative disorder in the DSM? Correct.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Homosexuality was a disorder.
Yeah.
That's right. And we've changed it as culture has changed. It's amazing how DSM has changed to say these things are problems that culture doesn't like, and things that culture does like, they're no longer problems in DSM. They're things we just need to accept and understand.
I'm going to ask a stupid question.
And that to me is dangerous.
Okay, ask the...
what's DSM mean? Somebody help me out here.
He just said it.
Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.
I'm a little slower than most, so you're going to have to walk me through this.
That's all right.
So what would you label Knox right now?
Yeah.
What drug would you medicate him with?
Help me out, brother.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't run to drugs, but it sounds like he needs a lot of therapy.
I could have told you that.
No, that's nothing new.
So unpack a little bit more than what you mean, though, by then pursuing a Christian worldview. What does that mean for you and in your line of your work?
Well, in my line of work, when parents come in with kids that are troubled, one of the first things I do is really look at, what is their goal in raising their children? What is their target? And if they're coming in and all they're trying to do is decrease a negative symptom, which is what most folks come in with, then that tells me they really don't know what the healthy target is. And psychology doesn't offer us that, but Scripture does.
Okay.
Scripture gives us a picture of maturity and a path to get there, which is healthy struggle. But what we have done culturally is as we've become more therapeutic, meaning we have elevated the individual and how we feel, we have gotten away from healthy struggle to everybody being happy.
Huh.
Oh.
And the more we've pursued keeping people happy, the more fragile our children have become. Children today do not, on the whole, do not know how to handle the normal rigors of life.
Right. This is why we've got all these safe spaces and this kind of thing going on.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
Well, we got safe spaces from the church.
Snowflakes and
well, sure.
That came from the church.
Yeah, right. Snowflakes.
Like we have safe spaces. We won't talk about certain subjects in the church.
Sure. Sure. Hurt people's feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And so what happens is you have parents that come in and their whole goal is, I want my child to be happy.
Right.
And what I reshape for them is, no, you want your child to be sturdy and equipped. That's why Scripture uses well, if you go back to Deuteronomy, some of the first passages to parents about children is teach them these truths.
Right.
Let them see it everywhere. And then in Proverbs, we're told to train, and training is hard. Right. And parents, that runs counter to parents' view today of my goal is to keep them happy.
So how do you raise sturdy kids?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, I tell parents 4 categories. I say, number one, you've got to first identify who your family is. You've got to have some boundaries and draw a box around your family. So what's your family identity? And that starts really with what you say yes to in your family and what you say no to. And it forces parents to really evaluate the nature of things. There is no neutrality.
Right.
There is a true nature to everything.
Yeah.
And so it really forces them to look at that. And, one of the things I'll give you an easy one, video games.
Yep.
And I'm sure Chuck Knox is loaded in video games and plays all the time, right?
NBA 2K18, baby.
Hey!
What up, though?
But one of the things I challenge parents with, I said, well, you've probably put video games in the neutral category, but they're not neutral.
That's right.
They either add to or take away something in your family's life, in your family's functioning, in your child's life, and you have to evaluate that.
Okay.
So the first thing is, and that's just one example, I have parents evaluate, who are you? What is your family identity? Because once you've established what you said is healthy and what you say is unhealthy, then it simplifies being able to tell your children, yeah, we just don't do that in this family.
Right.
Or, yeah, we do that in this family. My son, who's now 17, and he's kind of a man child. He's about 6'5", has a full beard, and he does all these crazy sports. He will joke that, yeah, he never had video games, but he shoots guns and blows things up.
Right. That's right.
Because we say yes to certain things, but we say no to certain things.
Yeah.
So the second category, poor kid, right? Exactly. The second category I tell folks is you have to begin doing less and requiring more of your children. Now, it used to be, if you go back 100 years ago, as soon as a child demonstrated a functional ability, we gave them a reason to use it.
That's right.
So typically by the age of 2, 2.5, as soon as a child could carry things, they were carrying wood. As soon as they were tall enough to reach the sink, they were doing dishes. As soon as they were strong enough,
come on, you better preach, man.
I know. And when that happens, when we require children to use the capabilities that God has given them, then by the age of 10, 11, or 12, their confidence and capability is beyond what most college students is today.
Ouch.
Ooh.
That's right.
Ouch.
Ooh.
That's right.
Then the third thing I tell folks is instead of using charts and instead of coming up with, tons of different guidelines and rules, have a simple cause and effect system. Cause and effect is the most basic learning tool in childhood. So in other words, instead of griping with your child about do your homework, it's, hey, I don't care when you do your homework, but you can't do anything else until it's done. Let them suffer with it. Let them suffer with their inaction. And if you truly hold that line, the vast majority, more than 90% of children that don't have a developmental delay, will come around and start complying.
Mm-hmm. Well, and part of what you're talking about,
do that.
Part of what you're talking about there is just the responsibility that you've given them as parents. Let them fail with it.
Yeah.
Let them fail with their responsibility.
Well, in the very
we're letting them succeed or fail, and all we're doing is holding the gate, holding them accountable.
Right.
That's right.
And the basic tool that, at least, especially when they're very young, God gives the rod to parents.
That's right.
It's the same kind of
that's exactly right.
cause and effect kind of thing. I mean, you don't reason with a 2-year-old. Right. You just say, if you throw a fit, it's going to be a spank.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I always think it's funny when parents want to reason with 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds. It's as if the parent one day expects the child to say, oh my gosh, Mom, now that you've explained that the 409th time, I get it.
Yeah, right.
And
you should see David's face right now, Knox's face right now. He's like, right, that's for sure.
Say that.
I'm not just going to take the trash out. I'm going to go wash the neighbor's car. Now that you explained responsibility.
That's right.
Man,
so that,
and then the fourth
that's
thing,
3. Okay, now 4.
The fourth thing I'll tell parents is limit technology. We have got to work to make technology have as small a footprint as possible in the lives of our children. Because technology gets in the way of healthy development for children.
Why does it do that? How does it do that?
Well, goodness, I'll give you one simple way. Let's look at attention span. Okay. We know that when, let's say most games right now.
What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about right now?
Well, technology.
Sorry, short attention span.
Right.
Case proven.
Put down your cell phone. Well, I'll give you a couple examples. Number one, we already know that both with children and adults, teenagers, the more social media activity you have, the higher levels of anxiety and depression you have.
Okay.
We know that.
Wow.
We know that what gives school drama legs more than anything else is social media. We know that when we grew up, granted, I don't know how old you guys are, but let's assume you're older than 30. When we grew up, when we got home from school, the outside world was shut out. Yeah. We had a haven. Yeah. We had a haven to exist in a family, develop healthy connection, develop healthy relationships, practice our craft of relationship within the correct format. Today, we don't do that. It doesn't matter where we are. We have constant intrusion. Now, and so those are just simple examples.
That's good.
Okay, so this is where, Keith, I like you. We've been doing so good. The first 3 I was with you, man. The first 3 I was rocking with you because I was like, spank them kids. You know what I'm saying? Put them kids to work, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. As soon as they can carry something, their hands can fit around it, go get your own bottle.
But you do a lot with technology.
But number 4, limit technology. I want to push back with you a little bit because I don't think that technology is creating something as much as it's actually exposing something.
What's it exposing?
Well, exactly what you said. We have nothing gets more legs than school drama on technology. Right. Well, the school drama is there, and now you're seeing the heart exposed through the technology. But I don't think the technology is creating the thing that's
already there.
That's already there.
The drama's already in existence. It might be putting gasoline on the fire a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Let me push back on you a little bit.
Sure.
Let me push back a little bit, because here's what I would suggest to you, that technology in and of itself may not be directly causing a lot of this, but it is the exacerbating factor, and it has created different forms of communication. It has cheapened communication. It has changed how our children and teenagers actually communicate with one another. They can sit for hours and communicate through text and social media, but they can't look someone in the eye, carry on a conversation, and read social gestures.
Yeah, but
we run it.
But there's an educational process that's happened that someone has let the tech teach them something. The parents who are guarding them, right?
Sure.
Letting them teach other than, so it's revealing more than it's actually teaching.
That's why I'm saying. And that's why I'm saying the goal is create a smaller footprint of the technology so these other things can be learned.
Or a counterexample.
Absolutely.
A counterexample might be, so I think, letting somebody alone, a child alone with the technology, they spend hours texting, messaging, YouTubing, and so on.
Yeah.
But if the technology that you have in your home is actually, used to create community between the members of the family.
Sure.
I mean, if my son can have easier access to me when I'm at work, or if we're communicating or working on a game or watching videos together, whatever, and that's all the use of technology, but it's actually reinforcing family identity, not fragmenting it.
Right. I'm just thinking the thing itself isn't the problem as much as it is the person who's over. Like colleges, I grant they have problems, but again, there wasn't a college in the world that I could have went to that's going to change me from Christianity because of how it was raised.
Oh, right.
So I just don't want to say. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, we're not labeling all technology as bad. It's just make it a smaller footprint because there are other developmental things that need to happen in childhood and teenage years. And if we allow unrestrained technology, it doesn't leave room for those. I'll give you another example. Several studies that have been done, national studies, when you introduce technology into the classroom like laptops, GPA falls across the board, college and high school.
Right.
And that's not the technology exacerbating anything. That's technology getting in the way.
Well, or at the very least, it's us not
knowing how to use it,
knowing how to handle it right. We're getting an F on technology.
So I can say, hey, until we learn how to manage this better, maybe we shouldn't. This is dangerous for us.
That's a wisdom thing. You're raising your kids and you're giving them certain responsibilities, certain access.
I want to
push this. I want to bring up something different. I want to push this in a different direction real quick here. We've only got a couple minutes left with you. One of the big things in the news recently has been suicide. Anthony Bourdain's suicide, kind of big flash, and I think there might have been a couple of other high profile celebrities who have committed suicide recently. Speak to us a little bit about that. I mean, how does that hit you, and sort of what the news and media is flooding us with in the aftermath of these things? How do you address that real, horrible problem in our culture as a Christian psychologist?
Sure. Well, I think if we back up a little bit and look at the trend of psychology over the last 30, 40, 50 years, we had suicide rates climbing, and then in the mid 80s we had the introduction of Prozac, and then our market got flooded with all other kinds of meds, and what happened is we kind of flattened the suicide rate for a period of time.
Okay.
But in that, we still were buying into a therapeutic model of the goal is to feel better rather than to live better. And so what happened is over time, and I believe what we are seeing now, and I see this with teenagers. I mean, I deal with the most suicidal population that walks the earth, teenagers. And what I see is when they are coming in and have an expectation that what I do with them or a medication they take will make them feel happy, they buy into the notion that will solve their problems. And unless they learn to live differently at some point, they will decide this hasn't worked yet, so I'm done.
Yeah, that's good.
But I'll give you an example. Somebody, kid, weekly I get this conversation. A child will come in, a teenager will come in, a college-age student will come in and say, I just want to feel better. And I say, what have you tried? Well, I've tried this and that and that and that. And I say, well, I'm going to challenge you that your goal is not to feel better, because negative feelings are a part of life as well. Your goal is to learn to live better.
Amen.
And in living better and being better equipped, you will find that you're able then to manage both positive and difficult emotions better, rather than just getting rid of them.
Yeah.
And so that's really how I engage. I think the suicide issue is just an end result of us being so therapeutically minded with the goal of feeling happy.
Right.
Right. So real quick, Keith, live better. That's general. Give me some specifics. You walk me through the first 4 ways to
raise sturdy kids.
Raise sturdy kids. How do give me some ways to live better? What does that look like?
It's Well, it's interesting to me. When I have a teenager come in, one of the first assessments I do, I say, well, before I give you any big goals to work on, we need to make sure you're functioning consistently with how God built you.
Amen.
Are you sleeping? Well, no, I'm up every night till 2 a.m. Well, okay, we got to change that. Okay. Are you having healthy intake of food? No, I don't eat breakfast or lunch, and I eat Cheetos for dinner. Are you getting any physical activity?
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, my thumbs are really strong from playing Xbox, but I don't do anything else.
Right.
I mean, and it's amazing to me that the vast majority of teenagers that walk in my office, their families have allowed them to live dysfunctionally and now are shocked and wondering why they are depressed or anxious.
Right. Thinking.
And so,
wow.
Yeah, and so one of the first things I do, I say, well, before we can tackle any major things, let's get you to at least live functionally, consistent with how your body's built.
Yeah.
And so that's a starting point with almost all teenagers that come into my office. I assess that with them right off the bat.
That's good stuff. Keith McCurdy.
Yeah,
brother.
Check out the website, listeners, watchers. Keith McCurdy. It's tell us your website one more time.
It's Total Life Counseling Inc.
.com.
Yeah.
All right. Keith, it's so great to have you on Cross Politic. Appreciate your work, brother. Keep it up.
Yeah. More
Thanks,
Cross
guys.
Politic when we come back. Keith, you're still wrong about the last thing. I still like you. We're friends. Well, Cross Politic has a new sponsor. Who, you might be asking? Decree Design. Decree Design is a graphic design and web development company that serves your business by helping you speak clearly through visual representation. Serving 90 plus businesses in logo design, print design, brand strategy, web development, and more. Decree Design has a skill and personal touch to customize a package specifically catered to your needs of your business, great or small, and provide personal assistance every step of the way. Whether you're a well-established real estate broker or entrepreneur getting your business off the ground, Decree Design will help your company's visual presence speak clarity and truth. For more information, please visit decreedesign.co or schedule a consultation with Joe at decreedesign.com. Yeah, Joe at decreedesign.com. Hey, and tell them Cross Politics sent you.
That was so good. Great talking to Keith.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to Cross Politic, where we are celebrating Father's Day with you.
Happy Father's Day.
And your dads. And we want you
Share the show
to be raising some sturdy kids.
That's right. Amen.
Hopefully you got some sturdy kids watching the show with you.
That's right.
You know, that's one of my favorite things is hearing people talk about how they listen and watch Cross Politic with their families.
Yes.
Sometimes in the car when we're trying to figure out something that everybody will agree upon in my family.
Yeah.
Cross Politic is actually one of the few things like everybody's like, all right, Cross Politic. Yeah. You know, like, because, we got these different, boys and girls and different likes and dislikes and so on. And we're like, okay, Cross Politic, that's fun.
So who's your kid's favorite person on Cross Politic?
I'm not telling.
Yeah,
I don't want to cause you to stumble.
So remember, David's a unicorn in our town.
So yes, share the show, tag your friends, tag your enemies. TotalLifeCounselingInc.com.
That was really helpful.
Check out Keith McCurdy.
Dr. Keith.
And
the good doctor.
Yeah. So
I'm still not biting on 4, but I think he's hitting something.
Yeah. But speaking of raising sturdy kids, which man,
we hope you're doing by
go baptize your kids if you have children.
That's a good way to start raising sturdy kids.
Yeah, that's how you start. In the news, you've been hearing a lot about the evils and the wickednesses.
Preach, preacher.
Of separating the children from their parents. You been hearing this?
Immigration.
Tearing children away from their parents.
Yeah.
What, abortion?
No.
I'm sorry. There's another.
That's ripping children apart
from their parents.
In their parents. But right now everybody is flipping out, having a royal flip out because of the audacity that Trump has.
The big bully man.
And Jeff Sessions, his thug. separating families, parents from their children.
Shame on
Have you been hearing this?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I got a Nancy Pelosi video I could play for you.
Oh,
do you
all
really?
over the news.
You want me to play this?
Please, I want my ears to bleed.
You want to
No.
You want to hear Nancy?
No.
I don't know. Is it worth it?
This is an act of the administration. They have been planning this for a while. As a mother of 5 children, grandmother of 9, I'm sure any parent here, mother or father, knows that this is barbaric. This is not what America is, but this is the policy of the Trump administration.
Look, here's the thing. If
This is barbaric.
when liberals start getting moralistic on you,
Yeah, that's right.
this is barbaric and evil and horrible. Every Christian in the right mind needs to sit up straight and tall and squint their eyes.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
You with me?
Yep.
You be like, okay, first of all, where'd you get that moral standard from?
Yep.
What's barbaric?
Well, she's
What's
a Christian.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I'm sure. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
But then, oh man, the thing that's been driving me crazy though is all the Christians leaders, like they're like, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. And like we haven't been able to end abortion in America. But the liberals come along and be like, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. Now, here's the thing. First of all, there's a bunch of stuff that's getting lumped together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So is that actually what they're doing?
Okay, that's the thing we got to clarify here. Let's
Sort this out.
There's a number of different things going on. There's the DACA thing,
Right.
DACA, whatever that thing is, which was a bad law
From the beginning.
that Obama made about people that somehow ended up here. It was not constitutional. It's against the law. And remember, Trump last fall ended it and said
by executive order.
You got because it was illegal and he was getting threatened with a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And so he said, Congress, you got to fix the law.
Yeah. Right.
Fix it. It's not my job. It's not the president's job to write law. Okay, it's your job, and the Congress didn't do it. And so we still got that situation about people who are already in the country.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly the exact status, but I know that it's possible that there are some people being deported because of the end of DACA. I don't know exactly the exact status there. But again, the point is if you come into the country and you break laws coming into the country, okay, you have to deal with the law. The law of the land,
or Congress needs to make some changes,
or you need to appeal for an exception. You need to appeal. I mean, and use do that. But here's the thing: what the liberals and the media are going insane nuts, bat crazy about.
Yep.
You're hearing about these stories about these like old shut down Walmarts and Targets full of children.
Yep.
They're like detention centers for children, and everybody's just horrible. Okay. Here's the deal. All along the southern border, there are stations where anybody at any time can come in and say, can we please come in?
There's stations set up for this.
There's stations set up.
Okay.
There's
All right.
immigration officials and people who know the law and know the deal, and you can go there and you can apply.
Right.
And I don't know all the exact regulations, but there are laws in the books that apparently give these officers the ability to adjudicate, is this a person that I can bring in? Do they have paperwork and so on? Or does this look suspicious or whatever?
Right.
Now that you can do that.
And this is like applying for some sort of green card,
visa, something. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you come across somewhere else, it's called illegal.
Right.
You're crossing into you're supposed to use, get in line, wait your turn,
go through the process.
Go through the process.
Yeah.
You're welcome to do that anytime.
Right.
But if you try to cross illegally, that's, illegal.
Right.
Okay. Now here's the thing. A little while back under the Obama administration, Obama or somebody in his administration said, if people come over illegally, kick them back out.
Yeah.
And process them as, somebody who tried to come in illegally, and send them back over unless they have kids.
Right.
And so Obama or his administration made this exception and said, stop deporting them if they have kids.
Right.
And made this exception. Well, what does this do?
Well, now I'm going to find me somebody kids. Kind of like we do with taxation.
Serious?
Hey, your kids on your credit, your taxation. Can I get 4 of your kids?
Serious?
Tomorrow?
So incentivizes.
It incentivizes people.
Incentivizes.
Like I'm gonna do something illegal, but if I have a kid with me, it's cool.
Can I claim yours?
Right? I mean, it's kind of like, it's a much lesser version of it, but it's kind of like terrorists with kids. Or remember during the Vietnam or the Korean War, sometimes the bad guys would use kids as shields, human shields, so that you couldn't shoot at them because you thought, I want to kill a kid.
Right.
But then they'd be shooting at you.
Right.
It's not wartime, but it incentivizes people like, oh, if I bring my kids with me, then I can stay. Well, what happened, Jeff Sessions and the Trump administration said, no, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's inviting people to bring kids, maybe sometimes kids that aren't even theirs.
Yeah.
I mean, are you incentivizing kidnapping?
Right.
Get people to get kids that don't belong to them and bring them across, and then okay, they got kids. We get
hands off.
So the Trump administration says this is a bad deal. We need to process all illegal attempts as a crime.
Right.
And so just like any other crime, if you're arrested and you're detained and you're put in jail, you don't get to take your kids with you.
Not to jail.
No, you don't get to take. Nobody gets to take kids to jail if you're arrested.
Actually, if anything, we challenge whether or not you're a good parent.
Exactly. Oftentimes there'll be an investigation of how's it going with this? Is this parent treating these kids well? This person is acting in a criminal way.
Right.
Are they being criminal towards their kids?
Yeah, that's right.
And so Nancy Pelosi and all these people jumping on this pull my heartstrings, emotion, sympathy, stuff is like, unpack this.
Right.
Well,
and so I'm not saying that all the laws we have on the books are the right laws.
No. Actually, we have a problem.
I don't know what the laws are, and I know that we're not very good at justice in this country.
Right.
But I don't
really.
But I'm not. But I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's good for us to jump on the emotion bandwagon.
Right.
That's what they want. They want to do law by emotion.
Is pushing for is he's pushing for Congress to act.
Yeah, fix
right?
this.
Congress is the one that set up a lot of the legislation for immigration that's caused problems.
Yeah.
And so Trump is actually trying to get them to act.
Do something.
And he's trying to force them to take responsibility for what create a situation.
Of course, Trump's trying to push to build a wall. I mean, that's one of the things he's trying to push for. And he wants Congress to act on it.
To try to get people to stop bringing their kids across the country. So that,
illegally.
Yeah, but the situation, so what happens is that if you come across illegal and you have kids, then they are saying, look, we're going to prosecute this as a crime.
Right.
And so for a temporary time, you're going to be processed as an adult and your kids are going to be processed as well.
Yeah.
And it's temporary for a little while. And then we're going to send them back home. We're going to place them with appropriate families like we do in any other situation in our country.
Yeah.
And it's in that context, of course, that Jeff Sessions, stands up. I don't remember where he was. Is he in Texas?
I don't know. But I can play that video.
Yeah, but he said, that's when he's saying, look, he quotes Romans 13.
You got the video?
Let me find that video. Go ahead and finish your talk.
Here
it is.
He's talking to, I think, some like faith leaders or something who are challenging him on
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Here we go. Jeff Sessions.
Discuss some concerns raised by our church friends about separation of families. Many of the criticisms raised in recent days are not fair, not logical, and some are contrary to plain law. First, illegal entry into the United States is a crime. It should be, it must be, if you're going to have a legal system and have any limits whatsoever. Persons who violate the law of our nation are subject to prosecution. If you violate the law, you subject yourself to prosecution. And I would cite you to the Apostle Paul and his clear and wise command in Romans 13 to obey the laws of the government because God has ordained the government for his purposes.
So
he's right.
And
he's right.
When he said this, Romans 13 was trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Trending.
Yes.
And I tweeted, I was like, hey, are we coming to repentance? Is our nation coming to repentance?
What's crazy,
we're talking about Romans 13.
Right, so everybody blows up,
all of a sudden the Bible matters.
Oh, right. But I mean, first of all, what Jeff said is right.
Jeff.
Right?
Yeah.
He's right because and I think this is one of the fundamental things we're up against is, are we going to have justice by emotion or justice by law?
Yeah.
Justice by
justice
emotion
doesn't even work. But justice and emotion don't even go together.
No, they don't.
It's not even.
But that's the thing is, if you're trying to get justice by emotion, because that makes me feel bad, because it makes me feel sad, because it breaks my heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, then anybody can get anything in the name of that kind of.
I'm happy.
Faux justice.
I'm happy when anybody says we should be obeying the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm happy about that, because I know it's a double-edged sword. Jeff, if you're going to say the Bible tells you to obey the government, then you got to remember that the government needs to obey the Bible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If we're going to bring this conversation in, Jeff, I'm so glad you want to talk about this.
Yep.
You know, this is a great conversation to have.
And here's the thing. In the aftermath of that, you have all kinds of people stepping up saying, but the government isn't always right. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel had to disobey the law.
Everybody turns into a theologian.
All of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, so how about it?
Apostle Paul broke out of prison.
Right.
You know, Peter.
Right. And so, I mean, and they're right too.
You know what's funny about this is nobody turns into Andy Stanley at this point. No one is trying to unhitch their New Testament from their Old Testament.
No. No. We can't talk about immigration. Immigration law, that's in the Old Testament.
That's what we should do.
Immigration law is in the Old Testament.
Shadrach, Meshach, Old Testament.
Old Testament.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Old Testament.
We unhitched that a long time ago.
Oh, man.
Pastor Andy Stanley, he told us.
You'll have to check out our show next week for us to break down Andy Stanley.
Just check out Twitter feed from Chalk Knox. If you haven't already seen his clips from the Andy Stanley.
Man. Our brother,
we'll get there.
Keith Darrell did a really good job.
Keith. That's right, Brother Keith.
Talking about that. But I mean, no one turns into that person when this happens. Everybody all of a sudden starts using the Old Testament as a justification. They all of a sudden figured out how to get past all those other codes.
But here's the thing. That's right. But the logic of Jeff Sessions, I mean, if you think to yourself, okay, it is right. Justice functions by truth and by fixed law. And I think that's what he's honestly trying to do. He's trying to say, look, this is the law and we're just enforcing it.
And you need to submit.
And it's good and healthy in itself for society. That is true.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's the same. Why? Because God doesn't change.
Right. And it's good for you. It's good for you.
The standards of justice do not change. It's good for you. It's a protection for you because it means then that it's not bendable. It's not flexible, and it can't be used. The same standard that you apply to others will be applied back to you. That's what Jesus says.
He's also assuming that all authority is under God.
Right.
It's under Jesus. He's assuming that. He's quoting Romans, New Testament, all authority. You know,
but it's by the same standard, by the same rule of law the same principle that we would say. The Old Testament standard of justice is consistent with the New Testament standard of justice. And so all the people saying, well, sometimes you have to disobey. That's right. But it's not based on emotional whim. Yeah. It's not based on you feel bad. It doesn't, it's not based on because it makes you feel bad that a child is not with their mom.
Why are you disobeying?
It depends on, well, what's the situation?
Right. It's against ultimately what scripture is saying about the government should be doing.
Right.
They are disobeying God. They are not walking in line with what scripture teaches about God.
But if you want to appeal to that, if you want to have a standard, then you got to have a standard.
Right.
You can't make up standards as you go along, which is what Nancy Pelosi, and I think everybody jumping. I mean, Russ Moore. I mean, these guys.
Did he jump on it?
Oh, he's jumping on the bandwagon too. And like, you
what
guys.
Did he say?
Oh, he's just retweeting, how horrible it is to separate children from their parents. I'm like, dude, do you know? Like, you don't know what's going on.
Wow.
This is
don't take the cookie, Russ.
He took it.
He did.
Don't take the cookie.
Yeah, he doesn't know it. And you need to make distinctions. And are there any situations where somebody was treated unjustly? Probably so. But those situations need to be adjudicated
and judged. How will we know if we're not going through the process of law? We wouldn't know what justice is or who was treated wrong or right if we can't execute justice itself.
So, all that to say, I'm still thinking about voting for Trump next time.
Really?
I mean, maybe denuclearizing North Korea. He's most pro-life president that I've seen.
I'm not there yet.
I'm not there at the pro-life thing.
He's
not the pro-life thing. I think he is in one sense.
I'm not saying he's everything he should be.
Yeah.
And I think he's applying the rule of law and forcing Congress to do their job.
Yeah.
We're going to get. I think Congress might now actually act.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pressure being exerted by a bunch of crazies. Yeah. But they might actually have to write a law now.
Really, Trump? You thinking about next year?
I'm thinking about it.
All right.
I'm thinking about it. And the more and more all the wrong people freak out about him, the more I'm like,
well, that's the thing. Yeah.
I'm kind of liking him.
Yeah.
But
isn't that still pragmatic?
No, because I think again, I look at Jeff Sessions. What's he doing? He's saying we're trying to enforce consistency across the board. That's what I think is, at least there are a lot in his administration that's going on there. I've said almost. I'm not committed yet.
Yeah.
And he's crazy. He's crazy.
Just a little bit.
You're talking about it as like he's like this moral.
Who's the basketball player that was over in the Dennis Rodman?
The worm.
Dennis Rodman's on the news.
Yeah.
Crying.
Well, you remember this all started when Dennis Rodman met with Kim Jong-un about 5 or 6 years ago.
I totally missed that.
Kim Jong-un invited him over there to put together some sort of professional athlete basketball game
in a crazy world. We live in a crazy world. Why are we interviewing Dennis Rodman about North Korea?
Dennis Rodman, come on, Cross Politics.
Yeah,
we love him.
Man, tag him.
Tag that boy.
Tag Rodman.
Oh my gracious. Oh man, we got it. Oh, there's so much. I'm just gonna.
That's fun.
Oh man,
that's fun.
But hey, happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right.
And until next week, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast.
Go raise those sturdy kids.
Do something nice for your dad for the end of the day. Give him a nice hug, kid.